As Mother's Day approaches, Ivanka Trump said that although she has tried to juggle working at the heart of power and her own heart-pulling needs for family time, she has decided not to live by anyone else's standards. Trump said that instead of trying to achieve perfection in an artificial scale of balancing work and her home life, she is going to do her best at each and accept that perfect balance is an abstraction for a woman who works in the White House and wants to be an always-there mom for 3 children. I have personally thrown balance out the window. I don't even strive for it anymore because I don't like to intentionally set myself up for failure. I did that probably the first 2 years of my daughter's life, but I've actually chilled out a bit on this front, she said recently at the U.S. Institute of Peace. People obsess too much about balance, she said. A scale is only in balance for a brief second. Inevitably the pendulum swings. It's impossible to maintain. It's about taking a bigger picture approach and creating a routine that works for you and your family, she has also said. In addition to her job as an unpaid White House advisor to her father, President Donald Trump, Ivanka Trump is the mother of 3 children, Arabella, 5, Joseph, 3, and Theodore, 1. Although she said she strove for a degree of balance in her role as an executive with the Trump Organization, the responsibilities of a White House role make a complicated juggling act she's not even going to attempt. I think that balance implies a scale, which inevitably tips in one direction. And the challenge with children, so often, the levers are outside of your control, she said. As the Trump administration works to carve out its presence in the nation and the world, Ivanka Trump, because of her close relationship with her father, has been drawn into government more than she expected when she said prior to her move to Washington she would focus on being a full-time mom for a while. This whole experience over the last several months I've been throwing myself into with the hope that I can have a positive impact. So there's no way to really plan for balance, she said, adding that acceptance the perfection is a goal and not a destination is an essential survival skill. Her goal at home is to make every minute with her children count, she said, indicating that if balance is impossible, quality time is important since I don't have an enormous quantity of time to spend with them. She admitted that trying to balance work and home has never been easy for her. I call it the overwhelm because those first few years were rough for me, she said. I was in the office, I felt guilty about not being at home, I was at home, I felt guilty about not being in the office. And the only time I was at peace was when I was lying awake at 3 o'clock in the morning. My children were sleeping, obviously I couldn't be returning phone calls and I could just think and breathe, she said. Now I think a lot more about just being present, she said. Just being really focused and enjoying what it is I'm doing and executing on that, either in this new role or when I'm at home, really being present with my kids. The first daughter has highlighted women in the workplace as her signature platform. And while it's unclear how that will play out in terms of policy, focusing on quality family time and embracing the chaos of life isn't a bad idea.